For virtually all Detroit Lions fans, Brad Holmes is the best GM in the Lions' history. However, though, more and more evidence is coming out every single day that he just might be the best GM in the NFL. We're going to talk about it in this episode, folks, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, all Lions fans, and welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. But before we do so, I just want to give a quick shout out for something that my wife asked me to do. She's been such a tremendous support to the channel, so I wanted to give her some support in something that she's asking me to do. On this Thursday that's upcoming, on June 13th, at 3855 Lapeer Road in Flint, Michigan, from 11 to 6 p.m., what you're going to have at that store for Rent-A-Center is a 50% off select items in store, plus a penny down starts on any new agreement of any item of your choice. There will be free food, there'll be music, and there'll also be games there for you guys' entertainment, and also so that way you guys can enjoy yourselves. My wife wanted me to push this out. She's an absolute tremendous support. Hopefully you guys will be there to help her out and help out her store. It means so much to me. It would also mean so much to her. And with that, we're going to get into the content. So here's the thing, folks. I wanted to talk about this because, again, I have said it so many times before in the past. Brad Holmes is an absolute wizard. He is a genius in his ability to orchestrate and manage the team, the Detroit Lions. And again, it's in multiple ways. We've seen his ability to be a genius when it comes to his draft strategy. Again, Brad Holmes, in my honest opinion, is probably the best drafting GM within the last 3 years. If you consider all the draft picks that he has had, that have either made it to Pro Bowls, All-Pro selections, whatever the case might be, Brad Holmes has demonstrated he has an eye for talent. He knows what he's looking for to build a team through the draft. We've also seen him do some great work as far as the free agency route is concerned, bringing in players through free agency and signing them to great deals that are really good for the team overall. We saw it this offseason, bringing in DJ Reader, signing Kevin Zeitler. We've seen it in the past with other free agents that he's brought in, such as David Montgomery, Khalif Raymond, Alex Anzalone. But I'm going to tell you this right now. The one area that Brad Holmes is not getting, I think, nearly as much credit, not nearly as much kudos as he should be getting, is how he handled this offseason and handing out the contract extensions that he handed out. Understand exactly what I'm saying here. Brad Holmes handed out a lot of money this offseason to 3 new contracts for 3 key players for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, I'm talking about Jared Goff, I'm talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm talking about Penei Sewell. And let's be fair and honest, all 3 of those guys deserve the contracts that they got. I don't care what you say otherwise, they deserve the contracts they got, they deserve the money that they got. But let's understand something here. The Lions spent an absolutely ass ton of money. I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but we spent more money this offseason in new contracts than any team in the NFL by far and large. I think if I recall correctly, there's some diagram. If I can find it, I'll put it up so that way you guys can see just how much money we have spent in comparison to every other team in the NFL this offseason. But we have well spent over more money than anybody else. And I know for a lot of Lions fans, they have heard different reports about how, oh, the reason why we spent all this money is now why the freaking ticket prices are going up. Oh, this is going to bankrupt the Lions' long-term ability to have success, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm just going to say this right now and address this right now. For those that think the reason that the ticket prices are going up is a direct result of these contracts, I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let me explain something here. How would contracts that are based off of last year's salary cap, because let's understand something here. The Lions are signing these players that we just signed, Sewell, St. Brown, and Goff, to cap space that was based off of last year's income from the entirety of the NFL, because that's how it's worked. The salary cap is based off of all the money that the NFL got divided by all 32 teams. So please tell me, how would the ticket prices that are going up for this year be reflected based upon money that is being spent from last year's revenue, which is based upon the salary cap? How does that make any damn sense whatsoever? It doesn't. Let me explain something. Those ticket prices that are going up are a direct reflection of the fact that, oh, maybe it could be because we went 12-5, maybe because we went to the conference championship game, maybe because we sold out all of our season tickets last year. The Lions are realizing, hey, there's a high demand for our tickets right now. We can increase the price, something the Lions have not been able to do in 20 plus years because the Lions have not been good. That is the reason why the tickets have gone up, not because we spent all those money on those contracts. But also, let's think about it from this perspective here. If you honestly think that Brad Holmes spending all that money from the contracts of Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Penei Sewell is going to put our long-term success in jeopardy, you don't know Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes is never, ever, ever going to put the long-term success, or hell, even the short-term success of the team in jeopardy just to spend a ton of money on a player. That's never going to happen. Brad Holmes' job as the GM is to make sure that the welfare of the team, not only long-term and short-term, is taken care of. And that's why the guys that are in the office as well, they're taking a look at these contracts. They're breaking them down so it's like, hey, the Lions are never put in a position where they cannot manage the team. And again, if you take a look at the type of team that we have, these players are not going to bend the Lions over a barrel and put them in said position. But when you think about it from the perspective that I just talked about, whether it's the ticket prices, whether it's the long-term ability of this team to remain successful and have a cohesive unit, let's think about this, folks. Everybody wanted to cry, whine, and moan about when Jared Goff got his contract, the 4-year, $212 million contract, which was easily over $50 million a year. Think about this, folks. The reason why I'm saying that Brad Holmes is a genius, he is a savant, he is brilliant in what he does, is because let's think about this right now. I don't know of anybody in the NFL right now that is trying to sign another right tackle or hell, even a left tackle to a major contract. But I know there are several teams in the NFL right now that are trying to sign quarterbacks and wide receivers to big-time contracts. They're trying to get their guys under contract. And the reason why they haven't is because of the complications that are arising from other guys in the market that have already gotten their deals. Think about this, folks. Brad Holmes knew that when he had to strike, he was going to strike. He knew that, hey, we want to get these deals done sooner rather than later, but at the same time, we're not going to rush them. We're going to get them done when we get them done. And think about it. I'm going to tell you this. The Lions getting the deals done when they did, oh yeah, it might have seemed at the time that those were massive deals. And don't get me wrong, they were massive deals. I mean, for crying out loud, Amon-Ra St. Brown getting on average $30 million a year. Jared Goff getting on average $50-some million a year. That's a lot of money. But think about this right now, folks. Would you imagine to be in the situation that the Dolphins find themselves in with Tua Tagovailoa? Would you like to imagine yourselves in the position that the Dallas Cowboys find themselves in with Dak Prescott? Both of those guys want money that they have not earned. They have not one moment deserved. Think about it. Up until this last season, Tua Tagovailoa hasn't started a full season in the NFL. He's had problems with injuries, whether it's been concussions or other injuries. And let's also understand this as well. Tua Tagovailoa has never been to a conference championship. Jared Goff has been to 2. Tua Tagovailoa has never been to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff has been to 1. Oh, and let's think about it here. What's Dak Prescott's playoff record compared to Jared Goff? It's absolutely putrid, horrendous, terrible, absolutely god-awful. Dak Prescott has never been to a conference championship. Jared Goff has been to 2, never been to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff has been to 1. But yet, Dak Prescott is looking for a contract of $60 million on average a year. The man has not done anything to earn that contract, which is why the Cowboys are in such a massive bind right now because they don't have the money to pay him. They don't have that kind of money. And then on top of that, they've also got to try and find a way to pay CeeDee Lamb, who wants to get paid. And that's even more difficult because, oh, wait a minute here. Amon-Ra St. Brown just got paid. So did Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson got paid what would be an equivalent of quarterback money, even though he's at a non-quarterback position. Think about that, folks. You've got guys out there right now that are wanting to get paid, and I'll be honest, the only guy that actually kind of you could make an argument for why he got paid what he got paid was Justin Jefferson. Because I'm going to be honest with you. As much as Justin Jefferson's contract was absolutely through the damn roof, it was through the stratosphere as far as total value. Justin Jefferson earned that contract because, like, dude, you take Justin Jefferson off that team, the Vikings aren't crap. Their offense is absolutely desolate. You can talk about Kirk Cousins being whatever you want while he was there with the Vikings. But without freaking Justin Jefferson there, they don't have the same kind of offense. And I'm sorry, Adam Thielen, he was a good receiver while he was there, but he's no Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is that damn good to where the Vikings knew they were going to have to pay him. But could you honestly say that CeeDee Lamb is the same as Justin Jefferson? Hell freaking no. Could you honestly make an argument that Tua Tagovailoa or Dak Prescott is on the same playing field as Jared Goff? Hell freaking no. They don't have nearly the same amount of accolades. They don't have nearly the same amount of what is the word I'm looking for here? Success in the NFL. Yet these are guys that are wanting $50, $60 million contracts. You're taking a look at CeeDee Lamb. He's wanting a contract that's probably right up there with what Justin Jefferson got, with what Amon-Ra St. Brown got. And it's like, dude, I'm telling you, I feel sorry for some of these teams right now because, again, Brad Holmes put these teams in binds. Think about it. If Brad Holmes had not signed Amon-Ra St. Brown to the contract that he did, Justin Jefferson probably could have gotten that contract, and then we would have had to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown more money because that's the way the market works. Whenever somebody gets a new contract, the next person that's going to get the contract is going to have to go a little bit higher typically. There are some occasions where that doesn't happen, but more often than not, when a new contract is handed out, that resets the market, and then the next big-time player that's going to get a contract, they are expected to reset the market. So think about it. By Brad Holmes handing out the contracts that he did to Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and again to Penei Sewell, but there's no example right now of another tackle trying to get the same kind of money that Penei Sewell got. By Brad Holmes handing out those contracts to Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brad Holmes did two very, very key things. First and foremost, he saved the Lions money. He saved the Lions immense money, and on top of that, he put more pressure on our opponents, on our rivals, on the teams that are going to try and get in our way to go to the Super Bowl. He put them in more of a difficult spot. Because I'm telling you this right now, the Cowboys, they're not going to be able to afford CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. They're just not going to be able to. They're only going to be able to afford one of them, and the other is going to have to go. That's the way it is because their cap space is such at a critical point where it is right now, they cannot afford both of them at the price points that they want. Unless they want to try and do the New Orleans Saints and literally try and restructure their contracts every single year just so that way they can get out of cap hell. But we can see what's happened with the New Orleans Saints. It's taken them years to get their cap back under situation. If the Cowboys keep going down this road, they're not going to have any cap for a couple of years because they'll have spent it all on a couple of players. Think about this also, folks. Brad Holmes was smart enough to sign Jared Goff when he did because by signing Jared Goff to an extension, he created cap space, which we already knew about back in the offseason because people had already taken a look at that. But then also think about this. I had talked about this earlier in the offseason when the Lions released Cam Sutton and they designated him as a post-June 1st contract cut. That gave the Lions an extra $10 million after June 1st, which a lot of people completely forgot about. But I talked about that months ago. So not only did Brad Holmes create cap space by signing Jared Goff, but he also took a bad situation from the Cam Sutton situation and he turned it into a positive by giving us even more cap space, which now means we have the likes to sign guys like Aleem McNeil, Taylor Decker, and a couple of other guys that really deserve contracts because, hey, we have the cap space to facilitate those needs now. We're not pinching pennies. That's why I keep saying what I say about Brad Holmes. He is an absolute genius as far as how he has managed this roster. Whether it's in terms of drafting, whether it's in terms of free agency, and yes, now in terms of handing out contract extensions, because this was the offseason where Brad Holmes officially kind of burst onto the scene and said, yes, now I'm going to start spending some damn big bucks. I'm going to be making sure that I take care of my players. I'm going to be making sure that the guys that have earned their contracts, they stay here long term, which is why he signed Penei Sewell to a contract extension. He signed Amon-Ra St. Brown to a contract extension. He signed Jared Goff to a contract extension. And by doing that, he not only ensured the Lions' long-term success by making sure those core players are here, but he wound up saving money long-term, and he put more pressure on our opponents throughout the entirety of the NFL to have to pay more money to get their players under contract, which means it's more difficult for them to maintain their roster stability, to maintain their roster cohesion. That's what I call a power move. That's what I call checkmate, my friends. You're now in trouble. You're not playing with the big boys now. That's why I say, Brad Holmes, he's a damn genius when it comes to being a GM. Whether or not you want to agree with me, I personally don't care. The facts are in the pudding. The proof is in the paper. It's right there, black and white. Argue it all you want. The facts don't change. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to make this episode really quickly because it's something that I just thought about, and I was like, man, when you really sit down and you think about what Brad Holmes has done, I don't think there's anybody that's as good as what he does. I don't think there's a better GM in the entirety of the NFL, whether it's free agency, contract extensions, or drafting. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better example. But anyway, folks, having settled that, I'm going to end the episode, and I just want to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also encourage y'all, please, to make sure that if you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, or you just subscribed and you not had a chance to do so, again, highly encourage y'all to subscribe. It helps out the channel. But I also want to encourage y'all, please, 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 make sure you turn on that bell notification icon as well. Again, as I put out in a community post, more and more people that are watching my channel are not subscribed, so we want to get people that are not only subscribed to get turned on, but we also want to make sure that if you do subscribe and you're not a subscriber, please turn on that bell notification icon so that way you never miss any more content that I push out. Also encourage y'all, please, to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can. I don't care where you share it, I don't care how you share it. The more we can share it, the greater the reach, the greater the spread. And again, I also encourage y'all, please, 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 make sure you do what I asked for my wife. Make sure you go to her store on 3855 Lapeer Road on Thursday, June 13th from 11 to 6 p.m. So that way you guys can really help her out. Again, 50% off select items in store, and a penny down starts any new agreement on any item of your choice. There'll be free food, there'll be music, there'll be games. Go out, have a good time. Again, it would really help me out. It would really help out my wife. And with that having been said, I hope you all got something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. I hope you all enjoyed the content. And with that being said, God bless, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.